The old classic projectile problem. When you throw a projectile, it makes a parabola, okay? Most useful application, in my opinion, of quadratics is projectile. All right, let's read the problem. If an object is projected from a height of 112 feet with an initial velocity of 96 feet per second, its height, h, after t seconds is given by this equation. Okay, now notice the things that they gave me. 112, it's in there. 96, it's in there. 16, they're using that for gravity. Okay, so we really don't need to plug anything in here. What we do need to figure out is after how many seconds does the object hit the ground? And the only thing you need to know here is that what is the height when you're on the ground? How tall are you if you were on the ground, right? 0. So we have to know that the height is 0 if you're on the ground, and we're gonna plug that in right there. All right, let's do it. H equals negative 16t squared plus 96t. I always write the original equation down, plus 112. If I try to plug in, if I'm looking up here and then I'm trying to write down here, and I'm gonna make a mistake. So I always write the original equation down just like it was. All right, now I know that height equals 0. So right here, I'm gonna plug in a 0. 0 equals negative 16 t squared plus 96t plus 112. I have an equation. It's got an equal sign. Guess what kind of equation it is? Quadratic equation. Got to go back and find the steps for solving a quadratic equation. Step 1. Set it equal to 0. Done. Step 2. Factor completely. Now in this case, factor completely means putting it in order, right? Which it is. It's in order. T squared, t to the first, and no t. Step 2 is greatest common factor. Is there a GCF here? Yes, there is. All right, if you look at these three terms, 16 goes into all of them, okay? And the leading coefficient is negative, so I'm going to take out a negative 16. Let's do it. Negative 16 divided out of all three of these terms, I'll be left with t squared minus, right? If I'm dividing out a negative, this will change. Minus 96 divided by 16, 6. Minus 112 divided by 16, 7. Okay, step 1 of factoring is GCF. Now, if you look inside the parentheses, it's an easy one. Let's factor completely. 0 equals negative 16. Here's my two parentheses. I know the first two terms are going to be t and t. Dynamite. My last two terms need to multiply to give me 7 and need to subtract to give me 6. Well, there's only two things that multiply to give me 7. Only two integers, 1 and 7. All right, my signs are different. My larger one needs to be negative. So this is a minus, this is a plus. Now, set every factor equal to 0. So that means that negative 16 equals 0, t plus 1 equals 0, and t minus 7 equals 0. Solve the first one. Negative 16 equals 0. Does that ever happen? Is negative 16 equal to 0? Nope. So I don't get any answer there. T plus 1 equals 0. Subtract 1 on both sides. T equals negative 1. And t minus 7 equals 0. Add 7 to both sides. And t equals 7. So how much time? Well, it's either 7 seconds or -1 seconds. -1. Has anybody found out how to go back in time yet? -1 seconds? No. So this cannot be the answer. Your time can't be negative. Your answer is 7. 7 seconds.